Welcome. So I will start slowly, and today I will do 4 different dishes, which will be the technique of infusion. So I'll use the NO2 to infuse and to create pressure and to speed up an infusion process. I'll do a ceviche, which is a marination that will be made inside the siphon. Will be speed up the process instead of a normal marinating process that takes several hours. And second, I'll do a cold foam, a normal cold foam, and instead of I'll use ingredients that we all have at home for all of the recipes. And then a seafood soup, which will be a soup inside the siphon that comes out so much airy and fluffy. Is a different texture that can be added to a restaurant or to a dish or to a fine dining dinner between friends that we have. And the nitro poach, we're using liquid nitrogen, so I'll use nitrogen to freeze instantly the foam that comes out the siphon, and I'll use it as a palate cleanser. So I will start first with the Mediterranean olive oil infusion. So here I have the mixture already done. So it's basically some herbs and spices that I use. I'll demonstrate to you how I made this. So using a siphon can be the size as you want, as soon as you never pass the maximum level of it, all right? So in the siphon, you'll place all the herbs. This is the final product that you can see it here. And this is the herbs that I use. So I'll use some rosemary. You put straight away like this after wash, you put straight away in the siphon. Some bay leaf, you can put some bay leaf inside. Some fresh chili. Some thyme, as many herbs as you want, and as many flavor you want in your olive oil, right? So we also made some lime zest. I'll place inside. Some garlic cloves, smashed garlic cloves to release better the flavor. And then some peppers that previously were toasted in the fry pan to release better the flavors. Coriander seeds, as much flavors as you want inside. What is the advantage of this? It's to speed up the infusion, and you can choose a cheaper olive oil to use it instead of buying an expensive good one. So this will increase the olive oil quality, right? So after you measure 200 milliliters. So, or as soon as you want to fill up all the spices. On the recipe after, there is 200 milliliters, but it depends how much olive oil you want. So we just need to cover all the spices here. Ia pousar a câmera. Metes o balde preto aqui. So I also use some lemon zest inside to give some freshness. I don't know if you usually do this kind of infusions, but traditionally what we do is the normal infusion. So we just allow them to be in contact with it, and we keep it in the fridge or the cold room temperature and allow it to be like this for 24 hours, 48 hours. So what we do here is that we can do the same that we are doing, but in 10 minutes only, all right? Also, I'll give you an extra tip for this. After we close the siphon, and then we get the Smartwhip. This is the smart big cartridge that comes. It approximately corresponds to 85 small cartridges of the disposable ones. So after we just attach here to the adapter of the siphon until we hear the click, then we pull down the safety nozzle, and here we just turn it until, in this case, I think I wrote down 10 or 17 bars. When it is an infusion, we have to really give like this a lot of pressure to allow the infusion to be quick enough. So on the 17, okay. Now we just take it out. remove the safety nozzle. We put Smartwhip aside or in the wall. They have the adapter to the wall, and we keep this in the fridge for 10 minutes. What we can do is that if it's not extra virgin olive oil, if it's the refined olive oil, we will add it to the sous vide machine. So sous vide machine is a machine that circulates the water and keeps the temperature precisely. So what you can do is that we can place these for 30 minutes, 10 minutes, sorry, at 45 degrees. This will increase and will warm up the oil. So all the oils and all the liquid will be closer and easier to beat. So I'll place it here. For example, here it's at 60 degrees, but I will not, at the moment, I'll wait a bit until it's 45, then I'll add it. I don't want to pass this 45 degrees because it will burn the essential and the essence of the oils. Okay, so I'll keep it at 45 for 10 minutes, or if it's extra virgin and you don't want to submit it to warm temperatures, we'll just place it for 10 minutes in the fridge, and then after it comes back. So when it comes back, after we remove it, it will have this looking of the oil that is in contact with all the herbs. And now using, here I prepare some codfish, Portuguese codfish, which we always have. Prepare some codfish here with potatoes. The codfish was cooked in sous vide for 85 degrees at 15 minutes. So here I will just pour some drops of this infused olive oil on top, because codfish is a fish that actually doesn't have that much fat, so we always need to add some dressing or some fat on it. Okay, so you're pouring this infused olive oil on top. It will make quite a difference. Okay? I could even add some fat soluble coloring on it, and I'll make it like the gold olive oil of it. So there is a product that is golden power, and it's quite easy to solve in fat. So I will solve this easily on the olive oil, and I'll put like the gold olive oil infused by Smartwhip on top of the codfish dish. Okay, so this is the final dish here with the olive oil on top. With the olive oil on top like this. Okay, so I'll set it here aside. Now to remove this, what we have to do is that once the 10 minutes are passed and once the 10 minutes are over, what I do is to release the pressure from the siphon. We cannot, again, upside down the siphon, so we have to keep it this tray, otherwise the olive oil will come out from the opening. So to release the pressure, we can use like a small paper, and we press it until you stop hearing the sound of the releasing. So after it, you just open it. Set the head aside. And we place it here, the infused olive oil, okay? There we go. So then you can keep it as seasoning for salads, for fish, for whatever, and you can keep this for 2-3 weeks without problem. And it's good that we make this quick infusion, because usually when you make like the old way, the normal way that we keep it for 48 hours, some of the herbs that were not washed and sanitizing, they can include some fungus and bacteria that will create molds on the olive oil. So it's good to have this quick infusion. Also, nitrous removes the bacteria atmosphere, so it cleans it up, and it's a good option and a good tip for us home chefs or professional chefs, right? So now let's step to the next one. I'll do a ceviche now. For the ceviche, everything's already here prepared, which should be. So for the ceviche, I have here the salmon already cut in pieces, in cubes. No, and the leche de tigre. The leche de tigre is something that makes it easy, the ceviche. And what I made here was using some ingredients like coriander, fresh fish, fresh white fish, some chili, And what else was it? Onion, garlic, a lot of lemon juice. I used some yuzu to give freshness, salt and pepper, and it was basically it. I didn't use anything to thicken up because the fish structure does it, so I didn't add this to it. And now another siphon. I'll place here. The first thing to do is to do the salmon cubes directly inside the siphon. So here, cube by cube, and it's easier also to then after remove it. And the ceviche, once you season, the fish has to be in pieces already, right? Because then you increase the contact surface area for the infusion and for the marinated and to cook, because basically a ceviche is a dish that you serve, the fish is raw, but it's basically cooked by the acidity of the lemon and the lime, right? So the proteins, they are cooked by this acidity and the low pH that you find in the lemon juice and the lime juice. Also, now you realize that I changed the recipe, right? So I finished already the olive oil. If you have any questions about the olive oil infusion, please do it in the box of question and answer, and I will let you know, and I will help you with my best to answer to it, okay? Okay, so all the fish is inside here, the siphon, and I'll place now the leche de tigre. There's no precise amount that you want to do. It's just until you fish all it's until you fill and to cover all the fish, okay? Because it's important for all the sides and all the surface of the fish to be filled up and to be in contact with this liquid that you are pouring inside, okay? And as soon as you don't pass the maximum of the siphon, that's the most important thing, okay? Because you have to allow the oxide nitrous to get inside. So you can even do like this to make sure that all the liquid is in touch with it, okay? Okay, there we go. Now I'll close the siphon. And there we go for Smartwhip again. So here the same. This is a normal siphon. So it's basically the normal siphon that you can find in some of the cooking shops. And here this is the Smartwhip adapter that you can take and remove and use the same adapter for all the siphons that you have. So it's just attaching here to it. You scrub it down and it's maximum attached. Then you place the nozzle until you hear the click. And then you open the safety path, always down. And then you keep rotating. Here for the ceviche, and as it is a marinating that we'll do here, which is something that we need some pressure also. I'll do the 17 again, okay? For foams, we almost never use that much pressure, okay? So I'll do the 17 here. All right, and we have to let it go until we stop hearing the noise. This is how you know if it's connected or not. So until you stop hearing all the noise of the air that goes through it. Okay. So now I'll stop it. And a normal ceviche, it will have to be 30 minutes marinating and to cook the fish. Here that we increase the pressure, so it makes blood surface connected with the acidity together with the protein from the fish. 10 minutes is more than enough, and for sure, of course, I will place this in the fridge. You can turn it like this to make sure that all the liquid and all the air and all the pressure is harmonized inside the siphon. I'll take it to the fridge. So while this is going, let's make now the foam of wasabi. Okay, this wasabi foam, which is a cold foam that I told you about. It's something that takes wasabi paste, here some lemon juice, some egg whites. I use pasteurized, but you can use the normal ones, coconut milk, and the normal milk. This is what I will use for the foam. Why I'm using these ingredients, I'll explain you the reason of each one. So wasabi, it's the flavoring one, so I have to use, because I wanted the wasabi foam. So there's no way wasabi was not on it. lemon juice because I want to give it a punch. And once you join together acidity, low pH with proteins, the proteins get more close to the state of cooking. So it thickens up a little bit of the proteins once they are together. Okay, that's why when we are beating egg whites, you put some drops of lemon juice to make it fluffy and to make it more stable. Okay, so that's why the reason that I wanted lemon juice and also to go in the same profile as the ceviche goes. After, some coconut foam, which has a lot of fat, and we need fat in all the foams that we do because the fat gives the shyness and gives the structure for this matrix. Okay, and then the whole milk. Because increasing more fat and to increase some fluidity. I didn't have to use it. I could increase more coconut foam instead, but I want something more dense and not that airy because it goes along with the ceviche. So that's why I put the normal whole milk. So for these, I'll add together in the normal, in something that allows you to blend after. So it can be like a cup like this. And I'll put together the lemon juice. Then here, that's it. Here. The 5 grams of wasabi powder, which I hydrated a little bit in water, so it's easier to fold together all the ingredients. And then the egg whites. Okay. Coconut milk. It here. Coconut milk was around 100 grams of coconut milk. I want to say again to you that all these recipes will be shared with you, the right amounts of ingredients that I'm using, but some extra tips are not all written down there. So please take notes and do as much questions as you want. Okay. And here, now I just have to blend it with the hand blender, normal hand blender, and to make sure that all the ingredients go together. Done. So now, okay. So while this is also good because while the ceviche is getting cold, we are also making some extra adding foam that will create nice structure and nice element to our dish. Okay. So after, and this is an important rule that we have to use, which is everything that goes inside the siphon has to be strained with a good sieve. When I mean a good sieve, is a triple mesh or double mesh like this one, okay? They're really simple and really small sizes to filter all the things that goes. I know that coconut milk doesn't have any elements that can be through the whole milk, but wasabi paste and somehow, I don't know, can be a little bit of an item, a plastic, you never know. So it's the main rule to do and to always respect, which is everything that goes inside the siphon has to be proper strained. So while using these, I can also do straight ahead directly on the siphon. So here I'll place directly, okay, perfect. So now the process again, right? It will be closing the siphon. Getting here, now it's a foam that I want to serve in a plate. So I cannot use that much pressure as I was using for infusioning or marinated. So I'll use around 10 to 12 bars instead, okay? So placing the safety nozzle again, until you hear the click. Open the safety pack. And now here, I will fold it until the 10, which is here. And then I'll keep going the flow of the hair until I stop hearing the noise. It's around 5-6 seconds until all the hair goes through and it stops. Let me check if you have any questions here. What is the equivalent in capsules for that infusion in case you can't measure the pressure? Precision is something that I really believe and work with. So in capsules, individual ones, you cannot have that precision, but it's around 4 bars each capsule that you use. So to apply 17 bars, you just make the counting for each bar, and each capsule has 4. So you'll have to use a lot of capsules, disposable capsules, and then apply it to it. Here, I will just close it now. Opening the safety path. You remove it, and now you have to shake. Another question was how soluble does the liquid sauce need to be so the texture maintain itself when you take it out of the siphon? How soluble? Which recipe do you meant, Isidora? Soluble does the liquid and the sauce need to be to the texture maintain itself when you take it out of the siphon? I didn't understand your question when you mean solubility. Which ingredient you meant to, and which recipe you were talking about? If you please clarify that on the notes, it will be good. But usually, as I was telling you, on here I have proteins from the egg white, I have fat from the coconut milk, the wasabi to give flavor, and the lemon juice to help the proteins. All of these 3 ingredients are a must to have in every foam that you create. So fat, protein, and the flavoring. Without these 3, you cannot create them. It's the same for ice cream, it's the same for cakes. You need to have these food matrix to make it work, okay? So here, after the 12 bars are inside, you just shake until you make sure all the hair is diluted with the liquid, and you place it for 10 minutes in the fridge to make it sure. Okay, I'll place it now here on the side, the Smartwhip, and I'll start plating the ceviche while then it's time and make the 10 minutes already for all the elements to be plated. So I'll use some edible flowers on top. The mise en place was already done because I don't want to be a boring workshop for all of you, to show as much content as possible. So all these ingredients were already chopped, cut, sliced, and measured in advance. So I have mango in brunoise. I have sliced red onions, and some chili also sliced. So I'll leave it here. Here. So now it's time to open the siphon with the ceviche, right? Okay, now it told me either recipes. When you take off the siphon, I thought you need some sort of soluble base to keep the texture when taking out from the siphon. But if you said there's just need the ingredients, which answer it? Yeah, it's true. Our question is quite important. So as I was telling you, you also only need proteins, you only need the flavoring and the fat. These 3 is a must-have in the siphon to make it work. If you don't have any of them, and if you are creating a vegan foam, if you are creating any of these, there are some replacements and some food additives that can give you structure enough for this, Isidora. So, for example, you can use like xanthan gum, which is a thickener that comes out from protein of the bacteria. They are called Xanthomonas campestris. And then they thicken up and they give structure for gluten-free bread, for cakes, for vegan food, for whatever you want to thicken up, and also to give structure when the foam comes out, as Isidora was saying, from the siphon. And there are 2 other products from Sosa, which is the Prospuma and cold and the Prospuma hot, which is something that you can add to any of any liquid that you want to create a foam with. Imagine that you want to do a foam of coffee foam. So what you'll do, you'll just take out the coffee from the machine, blend together with one of these 2. It depends if you want a cold foam or if you want a hot foam. And then after strain it inside the siphon, and there we go. Why this happens? Because this is a mixture of food additives. So for example, the hot one, they have albumin, they have alginate, they have cornstarch, they have guar gum. The cold one, they have a mixture of dextrose, sucrose, goma guar, milk protein, they have the soluble fats. So this is a mixture that makes basically a foam to whatever you want to create a foam at, okay? So this is, I usually say to my students, the lazy products to make a normal form of siphon, okay? But you are not lazy people, right? So you can use the xanthan gum, you can use the albumin powder, so you can add as much food additives as you need for that specific form that you want to create with, okay? So setting them up now here aside, I'll keep back with the ceviche foam. So here, now it's the same process. So you get the little scrap of paper and you'll release all the pressure that you place inside the siphon. So here you just cover out because you can somehow, if you lay down the siphon or something, if it's wet, can go to the side. So removing the air out here until you stop hearing the noise. And after you can open up. Perfect. So here you see there's some smoke coming out of it. So there was a high pressure inside of it. And now here I will place the ceviche together with the liquid on a container, so it's easier for me to plate. Okay, so now let's start the plating, all right? Here I have everything setting up. All right, so here this is a coconut shell that I wanted to use. So a cube of fish already on the back. Se puderes fazer close-up no balde, sim, por favor. Melhor. Isso tem inclinação. Okay, I think it's enough of fish now. Set here on the side. Now, with another spoon, I will place all the, now here. The avocado. To prevent the avocado from getting dark, you can just pour some lime juice or lemon juice on top. Okay, some cubes here, rounds. We'll go for the mango brunoise. Now the purple onion. Now I'll add some chopped coriander, because there's no ceviche without corianders, right? There we go. Now I'll add the wasabi foam. So it was approximately 10 minutes that went through. There's a question here. How soluble does the liquid sauce need to be to get the texture, maintain it itself when you take it out of the siphon? But that was already answered. Okay. All right, I'll prefer the ceviche presentation in white plate. But you can see the final product. Thank you. Okay, I have another plate actually. So let's do two different platings. Now answering Monica Turner. Okay, let's do in also this plate. Posa, por favor. Senão fica aqui morto. So do here. Which I don't have a white bowl here, but I also think that this gray bowl, it makes a nice effect on the ceviche itself. Here are the same ones. And I hope I make Monica happy now with the other plating. And here the same, spreading some avocado here, some mango cubes. And the coriander for the last one. Okay. So now we'll complete it with the wasabi foam, which is already cold enough. Pressurizing. $12 again. Mas está bem entupido aquele sifão. Still all the noise are inside. Mas consegues. Stop here again.
Lava o bordo.
Yeah, now it will be. Now it will be fine. So here, placing the nozzle again. Placing the first nozzle, then it allows you to adapt the other nozzles that you place at. Okay, so I was telling you to test firstly here the foam on it, right? This one was not cold in the fridge, so it's not that stable and dense as it was the other one, but it will work here. Okay, so in the first one, you can use it here, the foam, and on this one as well, we can also make two different dots. There we go. And then you can also place some flowers, because the ceviche, it's a fish, so the fish, it's always welcoming for three different flowers on it. This one as well. There we go. So that was the infusion of the marinated of the ceviche we did. And that was made also another plating for Monica from Peru in a different plate, in a different bowl. And that was the test that I made. You can see here the consistency. You can see how dense it is, the wasabi, because of the egg whites, because of the wasabi and the coconut that was also here to give some fat and stability to this foam, which if you turn it down, it's still dense and it's beautiful and it looks. Okay, so that was our second dish, okay, to be plated on back. Push atrás da câmera, por favor. Okay, let's see if I have any other questions about it. If I can answer to it. Let's see now, answer the questions. Inclina para cima. That was a real chef that's problem solving on the fly. Thank you. How long does the cold foam keep in the fridge in the siphon? Also, if you keep siphon in sous vide bed for the warm foam. Yeah, that's a good question from Finland, Mikko. Hello. So about the sous vide, let's answer first to the sous vide and the one keeping on the fridge. So when you are making a foam of a sous vide that goes in the sous vide and goes inside the waffle bed, like this one that is here, what we'll do is that we create all the foam, all the steps that I did, all the strainer and everything. You place it inside the siphon, and then you take it to the water bed. So this it depends how much time you want. For example, when you are making, for example, an Hollandaise, a foam for espresso martini or something like this, we basically keep it on the temperature that we want as for the serving temperature. For example, now hollandaise, because of the proteins of the egg yolk, you cannot go over 75 degrees, right? So we can never have the water bath at that temperature, okay? We can never pass the 85 degrees. 75, sorry. So for an hollandaise, you'll keep in the sous vide during service for how long as you want, as well as the service is going. So when the customer asks that dish for you, you just take the siphon from the water bath and plate your foam directly, okay? For instance, if you are doing espresso martini or the foam, for example, for the infusing the olive oil that I told you 45, it's also 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes maximum that you can have on the sous vide. Be careful because it's like this. The more temperature and you go and you give, the less nutrients, the less flavor, the less aroma you have at the end, because you are cooking and you are processing all these ingredients, right? So all the vitamins, all nutrients, it vanishes away. So let's keep it on the water bath as minimum as possible, okay? During service, and you cannot, it's a lot of mess and you are running in the kitchen and the service and everything, so we will keep it on the itself on the water bath during service, and then after service just put it back on the fridge and it's perfect. The second question that you made was on the fridge, what time it can be on the fridge. So now it's the opposite. As maximum as it can be on the fridge, it should be, because nitrous oxide, the gas that Smartwhip is, it's more soluble and works better as colder the liquid it is. So let's make myself clear. The more cold it's the siphon adds, the all ingredients and all the product that is inside the siphon will be even colder. So it will make more stable our foam and will create better our foams, okay? So there's no minimum time, there's no maximum time to be on the fridge. If you forget it, better. The minimum, it's at around 10-15 minutes that you can have. And another tip that I can give is to use ingredients already fresh and already cold temperatures. I hope I answered your questions here, Miko. And that was it. So now keep going with the next email you use for the recipes. We'll send the booklet with all these recipes that I'm showing you now for the same email that you received the link about the workshop itself, okay? The same link that you entered the Zoom for this class will be the same email that will be used for us to send to you the booklet with all the recipes. There will be a first introduction phase, speaking about the more theoretical part about what is a foam, how can be created, how stable can be, also about the bars and the pressure that is associated to different Smartwhip usage. So it will be the same email that will be used for you, okay, Monica? So now let's keep up and let's go for the next dish. I'll leave it here. These dishes that were already plated, so it's easy for you to see at the end how stable they were and how it can last. Okay. Now let's go for the seafood soup. Now we're in Portugal. I wanted to do fish or everything because we are famous of using seafoods and fish, freshness fish, because of our huge coast. So I wanted to use a lot of fish around here. So I want to create a seafood soup, but a seafood foam instead, okay? Something that it's easier and has a different texture for us when we are eating it. Now, see it here. And for the foam, it's 3 basic ingredients only to make this foam out. With 3 basic ingredients that make this foam out. So I made a seafood soup, basically a normal one. I'll tell you down the recipe. So it was basically 1 kilo of wild shrimps with the heads, because it's the head that gives you flavor to it. Then I add some onions, garlic, so I make kind of braise it with the olive oil together. And then I add a lot of aromatics. I like to cook with a lot of aromatics. So rosemary, parsley, bay leaf, pepper, celery, coriander seeds toasted, and I place in the pot. And on the high stove, I was mixing in a pot with all that ingredients. So after, I added some carrot, some peppers, which gives this color, some paprika, and some tomato. Then after while it's all soft and all sweaty, I add some brandy and I set fire to it. So this really allows to increase the temperature and reach the heads of the shrimps better. So it makes a better extract of flavor and aromas from the seafood, shells, the crabs, the head of the shrimps and everything, all right? So then I add some wheat flour to thicken up. So that's why it has this consistency and not that liquid, because it doesn't take potato, this soup. And black and salt and pepper to taste. And I pass through a strainer, a really good strainer, and there we go, off to go. So for this, I measure for the seafood soup, the 350 milliliters of seafood soup, the soup that I just told you the recipe about, okay? So adding this here, 350 grams of seafood soup already made, then 1.5 egg, and then some heavy cream, okay? Adding some heavy cream to this. Setting this aside. So when this is set, if you want, you can add some shantan gum just to make it sure that it's stable and it's dense and it's thick and it's beautiful. So we can use the shantan gum as I was telling you about, this one, and it will make even more stable our foam. So then let's blend it again to make sure that everything incorporated and mixtured. There we go. There we go. Now I will use the strainer again and I'll place it inside the siphon. This is the rule number 1 that I told you, right? Everything that goes in the siphon has to be strained. Here in this case was around 400 milliliters of content, but you can fill as much as you want, unless you don't pass the maximum level of capacity in your siphon. So now, closing back, we place our, this is supposed to be a hot soup, so we place in our water bath to 60 degrees. We don't want more than 60 degrees, otherwise the egg white will be cooked inside the siphon. So we don't want that. So 60 degrees maximum. And in the water bath, if you want to keep longer than 1 hour, you have to decrease it for 55 degrees instead of 60, okay? So here the nozzle goes back again until here the click goes down. And here we'll place 8 bars. I don't want that much hairy foam here, as it was, for example, in the wasabi foam. So 8 bars is more than enough, and it's fluidy, it's enough area. I don't want that much area in the soup, otherwise you are eating a foam, not a soup. So it's just low profile foam here. So 8 bars maximum. Removing now the pedal, setting aside Smartwhip again. We shake to make sure that all the incorporated air it's done, and then we're done. And now we place it here in the water bath, just to warm up the soup and to make sure that that will be warm enough to go after with the plate itself, okay? So now, while it's warming up, and let's leave around 10 minutes there, I will start preparing the next recipe, which will be the poached nitrogen. So for this one, we'll use, there was some pectin base. Pectin, it's a fiber, it's a sugar that is extracted by fruit. So basically, it's in the acidity fruits. For example, apples, lemon, pineapple. Some of these fruits, they have pectin, and you can usually buy on the market already the food. The pectin you can buy in supermarkets, normal supermarkets. They have a mix for jams. It's already pectin with sugar on it, or you can buy different types of pectins from the Sosa, which is the brand that I normally use for this kind of food additives. Do you need to heat the liquid? Use shantan gum if it's safe to use very hot liquids in the siphon. All right. Thank you for that question. Relating to the shantan gum it has the main function, which is thicken up a solution, thicken up a soup, thicken up a sauce, thicken up an yogurt, thicken up a bread, thicken up whatever you want to add the xanthan to. But it's a thickener. It's not a protein. It's not a fat. So to use a foam and to create a foam, remember that I told you, you always need to use some fat, some protein, and the flavoring. Xanthan is an extra that will increase your stability because it thickens up the solution and makes it more stable. But it's not something that makes a foam only with. You always need the other two elements to create it. And the xanthan gum, when it's used, it can be dissolved in hot liquid, in cold liquid, but so it depends to you. The temperature is not effective here. You can add xanthan gum to whatever you want to, but you always need a good blender or a good Thermomix to make sure that it's well dissolved and it's well incorporated in the liquid itself. Okay. I hope I answered to your question, Surya. And now keeping going, I was telling you that the pectin here, it's something that gelifies. It's gelifying. Okay. The function is gelifying fruits, liquids, whatever you want to add it to. You can make a pâtisserie, you can make jellies, you can make jams, you can make nappage to cover the cakes, and also you can make pectin bases. I don't know if some of you are familiar with sensory analysis, but in sensory analysis, when you are tasting several samples, it gives to you a mixture of pectin with water to thicken up that solution. It's still liquid as you can see here, but it's a little bit thickened up, and this increases the time that is together with your tongue, so it makes cleaners better the palate. So usually pectin is used for the palate cleanser on sensory analysis and all of that. Why we make it here was a base to thicken up, but to go inside the siphon, so it gives me structure enough to have that foam afterwards, okay? So here, what I basically do was getting together half a liter of water together with 87 grams of sugar and 8 grams of pectin. Why the sugar? All these food additives, they come in powder. So if you have the opportunity to add them together to a dust that spreads well liquid and makes it easier to not create and avoid lumps, we add it to sugar. So I measured 8 grams of pectin together with sugar. I mix it well to make sure that it's properly dissolved in the water, and then goes to the water, bring it to boil, 1 minute boiling, take it out, cold in ice bath, and we get this mixture of pectin with water, which is basically more thickened up, and will give structure to our foam itself. Okay. So I'll set also this one aside. And now here, I will place now this in a little jar. So now I'll measure here in the jar, after blend it again. Also, I can use this one, which is better. So it's more, it's faster and it's easier to blend. So what I'll put here, it will be, after the pectin base is made, I measure 325 of it, okay? So I'll add it here, 355 grams of pectin base. You can see that it's not liquid as water. Then after, I will add vodka, because when you are dealing with a palate cleanser, alcohol allows you to release better all the volatiles that are available on the mixture. So if you ever have the chance and the customer can have it, it's another tip that I want to give you, it's add alcohol, vodka, rum, gin to desserts or to dressings or to coulis or these kind of things that are liquids that are together with this food additive, and they will increase all the flavor on it, okay? So it'll make it a better sensory perception afterwards. Here, some pasteurized lime juice. Why pasteurized? Because I want the flavor to be stable on 1, 2, 3 days. If I have the foam inside my siphon in the fridge for the next service, for the next day, I want the flavor to be the same. I don't want to feel the next day, the lime juice already oxidized, already rotten. So what I did is you can buy the lime juice already pasteurized, but if you don't find it on your local supermarket, you can pasteurize yourself your lime juice. How you do it? You just squeeze the lime juice itself until you want the desired amount of it. And then 10% of sugar, you will add the 10% of sugar of the total weight of the lemon juice. You measure how much sugar you want and you place it, mix it together with a spoon and bring it to the water bath that we are using here at 70 degrees for 10 minutes. That's more than enough to pasteurize the lime juice. Okay, so lime juice inside the bowl. The vodka already had malic acid. You can use here some malic acid, or you can add, for example, some citric acid or ascorbic acid. This will increase your stability and also give some flavor on it, because the malic acid smells of green apple. And I'll add some egg whites as well. These ones are pasteurized, but you can use any other any other as you want. Normal egg whites. So now let's blend it until it's harmonized. Just maybe for like 1-2 minutes will be enough. Okay, enough. So the mixture is already passed through it and homogenized. Now I'll place it in the siphon. Yeah, thank you. So, and I'll use the strainer again. Rule number 1, always pass through a strainer everything that you place inside your siphon, all right? All right. Okay. Now I'll close the jack, and here I'll add the pressure enough for making it stable. So I'll add 11 bars here. It can be around 10 to 11 bars, because I don't want that air will freeze instantly with nitrous oxygen. So I don't want it to be that much on it. Okay, so 11 bars will be enough. All right, 11. It goes each two. It goes into 2. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have to do in the middle of it until you stop hearing all the noise that is passing through. Well, someone, Andrei Barbosa, is asking if we will receive the recipes. Yes, the recipes will send to you in the same email that you got the link for this Zoom class. Okay, so once the workshop is finished, you'll get the recipes. The extra tips that I'm giving you to now, it's something that it's just telling you now in online, okay? Stepping out the Smartwhip aside. Now, we just make sure that all the air is incorporated here. More. So after, now we have to place this in the fridge, okay? Because as egg whites, as pectin, all the ingredients, they have to be cold enough. So we'll place it in the fridge to make sure that, okay. Now let's finish the soup while it's getting cold, the mixture. Now for the soup, se puderes por perto. Now finishing the soup. All right. So we can remove the soup from the water bath. There we go. I just remove it from the water bath itself. And remember what I told you, that we should always test the consistency of the foam before we place it on the plate or cocktail or whatever, okay? There we go. So here I use 8 bars for the soup. You can choose the nozzle as you want. And now what I'll do is that I place here the fish. And now I'll just place it on the sides until we fill up the soup itself, okay? You see the consistency, so it's a lot lighter because we increase the air amount of here, so it's more than enough. We'll take it out.
Maquininha.
No. Okay, so here there was the soup with the foam, and now I'll finish with some caviar. Okay, so finish with some caviar here. Caviar here on top of the fish. And now some flowers or herbs as you want to decorate your seafood soup around here, okay? And there we go, so it's our seafood dish itself, which was now created with the foam, so you can see that it's a lot lighter and it makes this effect of foamy and airy in the soup. Okay, so also set aside. Okay, I'll set this aside. It's here. If you have any questions about this, how to make it working with hot foams and everything, you can make it now. I'll answer it. If not, we'll pass through to the next recipe. Looks delicious, the soup. Thank you. Send you the recipes. No. Okay. Here, this is, I will tell you, this will be my second backup. We never know if something is going against me or what, so I'll have to do it. Always have a backup for everything you do. So let's place here again the 11 bars for the recipe. Okay. Leave it here and goes to the fridge. So for this, we'll handle with oxide nitrous in the siphon together with liquid nitrogen. As some of you had already worked with liquid nitrogen, you can just say like a thumb up. Someone had worked with liquid nitrogen already? No, it's a gas that is around 200 minus below zero, 200 Celsius below zero. So it's really difficult to handle and it's dangerous to handle. So we always have to use masks, gloves, and to use in conscious way, okay? Otherwise can burn your skin and can create big damages. Use it to instantly, we'll use it to instantly freeze the foam directly. It comes out from the siphon, so we place directly in the oxynitrous and we freeze instantly the foam. Okay, there we go. So for this, we will use a bowl. It has to be a metal bowl. It has to be a metal bowl, otherwise the glass can break, okay? Because as I told you, it's 200 minus below zero, the temperature of it, right? So for here, we place, this is the liquid nitrogen, so it's a gas under pressure. It makes these effects of it, okay? So I'll fill it up at least 2 fingers high and from the bottom. This is here. For that we'll need a spoon. It's as good as deep it can be. So as the curve bigger it is, the better, because we'll need space for the foam to be at. And the first step is to freeze this spoon. Okay, so we'll place it around here on the bottom. Can add both of them also together. So let's freeze first the spoon, because this makes sure that once you place the foam on top, it's so freezed that doesn't stick up together to the foam. So it makes this better and easier to remove it from it, okay? So, and for plating, we'll need to pour some, we'll need to pour some of the matcha on top of it, okay? Because it's a matcha poached foam. So for the so now I'll always test again how it comes out. And now using a spoon, as I told you, so what you'll do is just you pour on top, you pour on top here the foam, and then goes directly on the liquid nitrogen, and it just easily pops it up down because this was freezed, okay? He didn't answer me on any of you had worked together with the liquid nitrogen. If not, now it's a good way to learn about it. So let's make another one and I'll show you how it works. Now take it out from here. It looks totally freezed, okay? So it's like a meringue that once you have it here and you press it down, it's totally freezed, okay? There's this consistency of being freezed, okay? All right, I'll make another one for you to see. So first freeze the spoon. Because it's the spoon that has to be freezed, otherwise you cannot take it out from there. Then after the freeze the spoon is freezed, you press the foam against it, a beautiful this meringue, and then you just turn it down here on the liquid nitrogen directly. After 10 seconds, you turn it the other way around. So this is basically freezing instantly our foam on contact and in touch with the liquid nitrogen. So after 10 seconds, the other way, we can take it out, okay? And here, as I can show you again, it's a meringue, so if you beat it, it's liquid in the inside and freezed in the outside, okay? So this will work as a palate cleanser because it's cold. It will clean the aroma with the vodka and the matcha, will neutralize your saliva and will make a good effect. Okay. I'll create another one. So the foam on it, round it, we tip it to the top of the liquid nitrogen. First this one, you count around 10 seconds. 10 seconds will be enough from each side to make it and to freeze it instantly. Our foam using Smartwhip. Let's clean this mess around here. And now we turn it the other sides. There's a lot of smoke, but when you are looking to the oxygen nitrogen, you can see that even it's puffing out because it's growing like a cake while baking. Okay. So around here, we'll place it, and I can show you beating here how it looks and how it breaks because it's totally freezed besides the inside, which is liquid. Okay, there we go. I don't know if you have any additional questions that you want to do. This was the first. This was the first one, which was the infusion olive oil. Okay, which I was adding some drops here of the infused olive oil on top of it. Okay. Then the second one was the ceviche foam here. And served in a coconut and served in another plate. And now here the seafood dish, which was a hot foam, together with all the seafoods from our coast in Portugal. And then at the end and the final, the pouch oxygen nitrous, which is this exactly foam that freezes instantly from it, okay? So it's a solid foam. Okay, so that was it. I don't know if you have any additional questions that you want to do. You can do it now. As a gift for you all, I'll offer you 20% of discount in purchasing Smartwhip. So the code would be workshop20 on the online shop, or even in Portugal. We also sell it in Cooking Lab. It's a shop where I'm doing actually this workshop. Where I always buy my molecular products at, and the Smartwhip is being sold here as well, apart from the online shop that we have. So there's 20% discount of it. So after, there was my gift for you all, which were amazingly good participants, and were attending to the webinar. I hope I gave some insights. Please be in mind that all of these recipes can be adapted to different flavors, to different ingredients, to different products or dishes. So I was just showing the techniques of it. It was a proposal usage of the different techniques that the NO2 can be done. So after, it's up to your creativity to use Smartwhip whenever you want to use it and whenever you want to use it at. So be free. If you have any questions, I'll always send us an email to Smartwhip. I'll always help to solve technical questions. If you have any specific question, any specific doubts relating, if you are not managing to do a foam, if it's not stable enough, please, you can get in contact with us. We will be happy to help. And make sure that you read the booklet, because the first 10 pages, it's around the introduction and the theory part of how is a foam formed, how is the ingredients and the elements of a foam, and all of that. It's important to read and to be a master and to become a master of foams together with Smartwhip. Okay, so that was it. Thank you all for being there, for all the questions that were being done, and hope to see you soon. Yes, thank you.